Hey guys, I just want to have a chat with you today about the 5 roots of all evil. So, I made a list here if you see me looking down. So, I'm just going to explain briefly each one and my personal opinion of the root of all evils. 5 things. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, 6 things. And I just feel like it's a very important issue to talk about, especially now. We're seeing a lot more hate in the world. I know it's always been there, but it's either been embedded where we couldn't see it, or, things have to change. People have to realize it's wrong to carry that hate in your heart for no reason. It's just not beneficial to you or anybody else, or to be putting that out into the world. So, I just thought I would talk about it today. Okay. 1. Jealousy. So, jealousy is so bad because, if you're jealous of somebody for something, you're gonna intentionally and probably subconsciously and also unconsciously just, root against them and try to make life harder for them, because either you want something that they have, you want to be them, you want to have a life like them, and you just have to realize whatever you're jealous for, about that, you're just as good as a person. You have just as much in you and for you that person has to offer. We all have our own special gifts, our own special beauty about us. So if you see that in somebody else, I think there's a famous quote, something like this: just because you see a beauty in somebody else doesn't mean there's an absence of your own. Actually, I feel like that's a calling of a beautiful person. If you could see the beauty in somebody else, that's a beautiful person. So don't be jealous of that. That's one of your strengths. And if you are admiring somebody for something, instead of becoming so jealous and letting that eat you up and eat away at you, or trying to, actually sabotage them in their life and personal relationships, just admire those qualities and try to be more like that aspect of that person that you like. So, 2. Greed. I said money, materialistic importance or gain. Oh, there's a motorcycle going by. So, yeah, you all heard that saying, money makes the world go round. But really, at the end of the day, money is just paper. It's important to have. I'm thankful to have it, but really, you can't let that become your all sense of who you are and everything that you want, because you're going to lose touch of yourself like that. Money is not the most important thing. It is important to an extent, but please don't let it consume you and make you forget who you really are. That is not everything. What is everything is spending time with the people you love, like your friends, your family, being around those people who make you happy, go through experience, through life, and at the end of the day, when you are at your deathbed and you're thinking about, did I really live my life? And you just die with a whole bunch of money with you. Is that the kind of life that you want to have? You just have all this money that you held on to. For what? Go on trips. Spend your money. I'm not saying don't be responsible with your money, but don't let that need consume you. And not just for money, but also materialistic gain and importance is what I said here. Yeah, just the fact, some people, when they get to that height where they have money, maybe for the first time, or maybe they were born into money and they just think it means absolutely everything. It doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't. And you may, people who come into that money may think, oh wow, this is so incredible. And it is. I'm happy for you, but don't let it be everything. Be the end all be all of, like what I'm saying? And even just objects in general. Like, you could have really cool and interesting things, but just don't let it consume you. That's what I'm saying. 3, power, importance of yourself, and selfishness. So, my nails are so bad, but whatever. But, yeah, so selfishness. So, power. Yes. Okay. Some people, some personality types really just love that overall sense of power. And some people are born natural leaders, it's true, but when you get in a position that really gives you a lot of authority, you could start, what's the word for it? You could start abusing that power. Importance of yourself. Okay, you do have to have a deep importance to yourself. Like, you have to have a deep understanding of the importance of yourself. But don't think that you're the most important person in the world. I mean, your life is your life, and your life is important. But do not become so selfish that you don't consider other people's feelings, and sometimes act selflessly in the name of love. Like, if you're always working for yourself, being selfish, you're going to hurt a lot of people in your life. But I see, selfish people don't care about that, or either they have no understanding about that, no compassion. But, like, if psychopaths, narcissists, and sociopaths may tend to fall more into those categories, or just people who don't understand emotional intelligence or have any emotional intelligence may, or even if you're, like, in a bad point in your life, like, I know people who probably have mental illnesses are more likely to act out selfishly, but in those times it's understandable to sometimes you do have to be selfish about yourself and for yourself. Like, if you're placed in a bad situation, like you have to leave, I don't know, step outside your family or your friend group, and some people may call you selfish for that. But there's times where you have to be selfish for yourself, and it's understandable when you have to keep yourself safe and happy. And I'm not saying to hurt anybody else, but I'm saying, for your own well-being. Like, you tried everything that you could, but you had to step away for yourself. I don't think that that is selfish. I feel like selfish is intentionally going in, saying, okay, my opinion is above everybody else's. Nobody else's matters. It doesn't matter if I squash and squander somebody else, because I am benefiting me at the end of the day. Always, there's no discussion about it. No, nobody else's opinion matters. Nothing else matters except for me. That is the most toxic, one of the most toxic levels you could reach, you could be at. And I really hope that you get help if you are somebody who you realize and recognize has that about you. Okay, 4, I said sexual immortality / self-pleasure or overabundance of self-pleasure. Okay, so sexual immortality. Okay, I'm just saying, I think sex is a beautiful thing. And actually, sex and making love are 2 different things entirely. And if you want to run around and be with a whole bunch of people, that's fine. But sexual immortality, where you are actually just running around, being with people, and say, hypothetically, like in this situation, hypothetically that you get a sexually transmitted disease, and you don't tell your partners or your one specific partner when you down the line get into a serious romantic relationship, that in itself is selfish. It leads to, so many diseases, and then you can infect this person, and maybe you yourself don't know that you're even infected. In that case, I'm just saying, in that case, you should, as regularly as you can, get tested, because even if you were with one person, they could have had an STD. So, it's important to keep yourself healthy and keep that checked out. But, okay, also I'm saying sexual immortality in the way that if you're with somebody and you say you're in love with this person, or this person is really in love with you, hopefully it's a two-way street where you guys both are crazy about each other and in love with each other. But, and if you're running around cheating on this person, I have to say, that's not love. Like, behind somebody's back, you're doing this for your own self-pleasure, your own self-gain, for you just to feel good. Then this person, either if they don't find out or if they do find out, but just imagine the heartbreak, imagine the pain of finding that out. If you really love somebody, you don't do that to them. If you really love somebody, you only want to be with that person. So think about the repercussions and the ramifications of your actions. You can't just be all about yourself and all about your self-pleasure. I mean, I understand self-pleasure, it feels good, but at the end of the day, you have to sacrifice things and make sacrifices for the people that you love and the people that are important to you. And if this person is not important to you, then you have to redefine You have to redefine the relationship. That's all there is to it. Overabundance of self-pleasure, this could be in anything. An excess of anything is too much. So that was just a hypothetical example. So, like, you'll put your own self-pleasure above everybody else's. Like, okay, like, I'm just saying this for an example. I'm not calling you any of this in public, but, like, a rapist, all they're looking out for is for that self-pleasure. And they get that sexual pleasure from feeding off the fear of somebody else and attacking them, basically. So that's just an example of an overabundance of self-pleasure, putting your self-pleasure above somebody else's. That's definitely not the only thing that could be, but you could see some of the bad things that could happen if that would be. So even like self-pleasure of money, self-pleasure of food, self-pleasure of sex, like, a little bit is good. You should spoil yourself sometimes. I feel like it's healthy to want to do the best for you, to want to, and sex is beautiful and it should be expressed however you want to express that. I feel like the best thing would be in the forms of a loving relationship and somebody you've bonded with. Maybe you're not the same type of person that agrees with that, but I think as long as you have good intentions, you are not hurting anybody, and it doesn't step over a level that goes too far, I think you should have fun and you should invest in yourself and do things that are happy and healthy for you. So, 5. I can't read, I guess. Desensitization, and disconnectedness. Okay. So to be desensitized, either from yourself, from your feelings, in a moment where you're disconnected from yourself. So I'll be honest with you, in the moments when I have been in my mental illness, I don't always think everything through. I can't feel my emotions as much as I wish I could. Like, the only thing that really clouds is either numbness or sadness. So, and I'm sure there's been moments even within your own life where you sometimes, either with certain people, you're not exactly connecting or feeling, and like, it's hard to be feeling every single moment of your life because that could be exhausting. But I think the most beautiful way to live life is to be in the moment and feeling as much as you can and just really be there with all you've got, all the love that you can, all the feelings from others, like absorbing that in a sense, like having empathy and compassion for other people when they talk about something like that makes them sad, the people that you care about, that makes them sad and that hurts them, that obviously the feeling is palpable in the air, that sadness, the things that hurt them hurt you. And if you're living in a world where you are just totally disconnected from other people's feelings, that is absolutely tragic, and I'm so sorry if you're going through that. And I mean, some people just feel less intensities than others, and if you're just one of those people and you go around and you don't hurt people, I don't think that it's a bad thing. If you don't do these things like with a bad intent to you, and like if you can handle being less emotional, which some people are and can't. But I'm saying like, okay. And then the disconnectedness. So when you disconnect from people, like basically you either stop thinking about them, you stop caring about them usually, and not in every sense and every time this happens, but that disconnectedness drives a wedge between you and those people. I'm just using this hypothetical example anyways too, like people, but disconnectedness from a group also, like, okay, say you are on a boat, and this boat is at sea, okay, and you get lost and drifted upward, like upon an island. And this island has people that have never been connected. This is like a lost island that nobody's ever been at, for just hypothetically. Okay, and there's people who have been from the outside world that have never been connected to you before. Those people are obviously going to be scared and live with this kind of amazement about you, and you're probably going to be scared too. I'm not saying that this scaredness like relates to hatred in any way, but it may relate to conflict between you and that type of people. And some people do have biases, do have judgments and jealousies and judgments and racisms about people that they have never been connected with. Or also, I said here, bad experiences with, okay, say that there's been, like, there's just, there was, excuse me, I felt like I was gonna sneeze. Okay, we'll start over there. Say that there was, a family that lived across the street from you when you were growing up. Sorry, it took a second for me to think of an analogy. Okay, say that there was a family across the street living from you when you were growing up, and that this family was very cruel to you. You saw bad, like, experiences and practices from them and within them that you didn't agree with and you thought were bad or wrong, or they were just very cruel to you or somebody you loved, or just different in some way. And you grew up with that idea about that race being bad. I'm not saying you're the type of person to do that, but some people are. Or, I said here, but you have to understand, each and every human being is capable of being different, and each and every human being is capable of being good. Each and every human being is capable of being bad, but you have to choose what you align with more, like what you want to be more of and align with more and put out into the world. Do you want to put out and pour out more? Do you want to put out more love into this world or hatred? And I feel like, honestly, at the end of the day, people don't sit down and just choose, no, I want to put out hatred. I mean, I believe in my heart that, and I hope that people aren't choosing that, but sometimes people just don't always think that they're acting the way that they think they are. They don't see how bad they're acting, and I'm not saying that's an excuse at all. Like, they see that there's nothing wrong with spreading that hatred into this world, but at the end of the day, that is not going to give them any satisfaction. They're going to continue to live miserably and continue to put out that miserableness, that misery into the world. And I hope to God that if you're seeing this, like, and you feel like you haven't been doing your best as you could lately, that you really just take a look at yourself and you say, okay, well, I have to start being better. This isn't really who I want to be. So, yeah. I also put down pure, unadulterated hatred. So that's the last one I want to talk about. So I think that was 6, actually. But, sorry, there's a car going by. It wasn't really a great place to start filming in front of my house. But that pure, unadulterated hatred. So I feel like that really has to start from being passed down, like from the people that you're growing up with, your parents, their parents, it continue on and on and on and on. Like a continuation, a never-ending, unbreakable cycle that hasn't been broke yet, but in reality, it can be broken. How could you just hate somebody when you don't even know them? How can you just classify a group of people by the color of their skin, their sexuality, like, I don't even know, their religion, like, honestly, anything, until you really get to know them? Because I believe at the end of the day, once you get to know somebody, and you see the good, you see the bad, I feel like there's no way to really keep that hatred in your heart. So you have to understand, people at the end of the day are just trying the best that they can. And most likely they are a good person. So just to classify them and keep that hate into your heart, you are being a bad person in that way. And really, you have so much beauty to share with the world. Why would you want to put out all this negativity, all this bad stuff? You are a beautiful being, and you should be spreading love and light and kindness. I know people say that all the time. And really, at the end of the day, I feel like if you got to know that person, you could actually see what a beautiful, beautiful person that they could be. The good with the bad. And I'm not saying that every single person is good and beautiful, but every single person deserves to be treated with respect and kindness. And hopefully that will help motivate them to be a better person as well. If not, they need that love and kindness even more, because the reason they're probably living in hate is because they haven't been treated with love and kindness. Or just maybe they are a very negative person. But do you want to walk around with that hatred towards that person for the rest of your life? That's going to eat you up. No. Forgive them, let that go. I'm saying within personal relationships, I'm saying within a group of people that you have some kind of ignorance for, because you don't understand them, you don't understand their culture, you don't understand their life, you don't understand every single experience that they've been through, the good and the bad that have shaped them in a way that may act out in this hurt, and maybe they're not even acting out and hurt in the way for you, but you just have some kind of bias against the type of people, against the way that somebody acts. But okay, yeah. I just feel like at the end of the day, the only way to spread love out into this world is one step at a time, each and every single person, being intentional to love, to just smile at them. That can mean so much. Being kind to all creatures, all animals. And I'm saying, seriously, if you see these things in you, and I'm saying we all succumb to some of these things sometimes, but do not have intentions of hatred. But if you see any of these things in you, and you really feel a pull to your heart, like a tug on your heart, oh, I really have to change, like, I know now, I've been sensing it for a long time, and this just really opened my eyes to it, or I've been thinking about it for a long time, well, please make that change. Either start really genuinely working within yourself, within other people, like help if your family sits in racism and hatred for another group and your eyes have just been opened, please reach out to them and try and talk to them about it too. Try and open their eyes about it. Because that's the only way we can make change in this world. And if you need to seek professional help, if you need to talk to other friends, family members, other mentors and guiders and educators about this, professionals, therapists, counselors, please do not hesitate to do so. I hope this video helped you in some way, and if not, I'm sorry for all my babbling. I thought it was an important topic to touch on, especially with everything like going on now, all the hatred, what's the word for it? The unnecessarily brutal murders that did not have to happen, the things that have been swept under the dark for so long. I think we're at a point in humanity where these issues should not be coming up now. These issues should not be coming up now, and in reality, they should not be. It's unspeakable, it's unthinkable, and it's unacceptable. Because we call ourselves humane, we call ourselves human, but we can't see the value in another human being. That's inexplicable. Can I talk? No, it's Daffy Duck. Oh, it's thunder. Okay, but, how could you sit around calling yourself a good person if all you do is spread hatred and hate in the world? I feel like if you have hatred, vengeance in your heart, you're intentionally trying to make somebody else's life miserable, or you think that it is not like unnecessary for them to be alive, or then you then you are not a good person. That's the end of it, like, honestly. Okay, I hope this video helped you in some way. I'm Gabby, so subscribe if you like the videos. I'm gonna try and have like a channel for more silly videos, and then a channel for more like really intentional videos that either correlate to what's happening into society or whatever was like pressed on my heart. So please subscribe, like the video if you liked it. If not, dislike it, whatever, but have a good day. I hope you're living in your truth and your love, and that you have a beautiful life and can spread that love and beauty with other people. Help make other people's lives beautiful by loving others. Okay, bye!